Siri shortcuts are one of the most underrated parts of an iPhone, especially when it comes to controlling your smart home. But what is a shortcut exactly, and how does everything work? Well, this video is going to be a beginner's guide to Siri shortcuts. Today we'll explore what Siri shortcuts are, I'll walk you through the Shortcuts app and how to get started creating your first shortcut, various ways you can run them, and then we'll look at some fun shortcut ideas that you can easily add to your smart home. So whether you're new to Siri shortcuts or just want to learn more about them, this video will break down everything in an easy to understand way. So by the end of the video, you'll have a good understanding of how Siri shortcuts work and be able to create your own shortcuts. Now this video is more of a high level of just the basics of how everything works. We won't be going too deep into the technical aspect of everything, we'll just be looking at the basics. This video is broken down into 5 parts, and I'll leave chapter codes and more resources down in the description below. So part number 1, what is a shortcut? So a shortcut is a way to automate your most frequently used tasks without having to open up apps to complete the task. This could include things like controlling your smart home devices, playing music, adding reminders, and more. There's an infinite amount of shortcuts that you can create, and each person will use them in a different way. Any task you repeatedly do on your phone, iPad, or Mac can almost be done in a faster way with a shortcut. And later on, I'll show you some of my favorite shortcuts I use every day and how I run them. So part number 2 is the Shortcuts app. Let's break down how the app works, creating your first shortcut, and then how to organize your shortcuts. So to create and manage shortcuts, you'll use the free Shortcuts app from Apple, which comes pre-installed on an Apple device like an iPhone, iPad, or Mac, or you can download it for free from the App Store. The Shortcuts app for iPhone and iPad have similar features, but the Shortcuts app for Mac is a little different and has features you don't get on an iPhone or an iPad, but that's for a whole different video. Shortcuts are synced to iCloud and available across multiple iOS devices. So if you create or edit a shortcut on like your iPhone, the changes will sync to the Mac or the iPad if you have iCloud sync enabled. So whenever you open up the Shortcuts app, you'll see all of your shortcuts here, and you can scroll to view more. Let's create our first shortcut by tapping the plus button on the top right. Each shortcut is made up of actions, which is what the shortcut will do whenever it's ran. This area right here is called the editor, where you build the shortcut with actions. You can add an action by tapping the Add Action button, or tap in the search bar to bring up the actions. And you can search for an action here or browse for actions using these 2 tabs. First is categories. All actions related to the category you choose appear in this list, organized by subcategory, and you can tap the eye to view information about what the action does. The next tab is called apps. Now some apps support various actions. The amount of actions will vary by app, and not all app supports shortcuts. Some smart home devices that do not work with Apple Home may support Siri shortcuts, so you would be able to control a non-HomeKit compatible device with Siri. Now on the flip side of this, some smart home devices work with Apple Home and support Siri shortcuts, and this allows you to really get the most amount of features out of a device. For example, the Aqara cameras work with Apple Home and they support Siri shortcuts for certain actions like controlling the privacy mode, having a camera rotate to a specific position, and more. This means that you're able to use Siri to control the camera. Now each smart home company supports different features, so just keep that in mind. There's also actions available from the Apple Home app to quickly control your devices, run scenes, and get the state of an accessory and use that to trigger additional actions. There's also the Remote app, which you can use to control your Apple TV from a shortcut, and there's a lot of actions to choose from. Siri can also suggest actions to create based on how you use your iPhone. I don't think there's a limit to how many actions you can have in a single shortcut. So this means you can actually have multiple actions from different categories or apps in a single shortcut to run multiple actions at once. And that's where the power of shortcuts really comes into play. However, things can get pretty advanced and complicated quickly with multiple actions. We won't be diving too deep into this, we'll just be looking at things on a very basic level. Now let's create your first shortcut together. And for this example, we'll keep things very basic and we'll create one of my favorite shortcuts for an Apple TV called Watch TV, which will wake my Apple TV, open up a specific app, and then turn off all my lights. So the first thing we need to do is wake up my Apple TV. So the first thing you want to do is tap this plus button on the top right hand corner, tap Add Action, then search for an action called Wake Apple TV. Next, tap this little blue box right here to choose your Apple TV. This takes a few seconds to load. And here you can see a list of all your Apple TVs. Now, in order for this to work, you must be connected to the same Wi-Fi network as your Apple TV. And now go ahead and choose which Apple TV you want to wake. For me, it's going to be my living room Apple TV. Next, we want to have the Apple TV automatically open up an app for us. So in the search box, search for Open App on Apple TV. And again, go ahead and choose the Apple TV you want the app to open on, and then choose your app. And these are all the apps that are on this specific Apple TV. So in this case, I want to automatically open up the YouTube app. And finally, I want this shortcut to turn off all the lights in my living room. So we'll tap the search box here again, but this time we'll search for home, then choose the control action, which for me will say control Bradley's, but yours will say control and then the name of your home. Next, I want to run my house lights off scene. So I'll go ahead and choose my scene here, and now the shortcut is complete. And we can run this shortcut by tapping the play button on the bottom right here. And as you can tell, everything is working great. There's many other ways you can run this shortcut, like from an Apple Watch, that we'll be looking at later on. While you're building the shortcut, you can easily rearrange the actions, see what the action does, add the action to your favorites, duplicate an action, and copy and paste actions to create the order of actions. Now that we have this shortcut made, we can customize it by giving it a name by tapping the name at the top and renaming it. We'll call this something like Watch TV. And we can choose the icon and the color and move this shortcut to a folder. Once you start having a bunch of shortcuts, you can see things can get pretty cluttered. So here's how you can organize them to find a specific one faster. You can move a shortcut around by tapping and holding on the shortcut and then dragging it around. You can tap the shortcut to run it, or you can tap these three dots to start editing the shortcut. If you tap shortcuts here on the top left, and here you can see all shortcuts, the share sheet, we'll come back to this in a minute, and shortcuts that are on an Apple Watch. And here's folders at the bottom. Now you can create a new folder with the plus button on the top right, and you can give the folder a name and icon, and here you can see the folder that we made here. And you can also delete a folder and choose to keep or delete the shortcuts in the folders and rearrange the order of folders. To add a shortcut to a folder, tap select, choose the shortcut, and here you can choose to duplicate, move to a folder, or delete. We want to move this shortcut to our Apple TV folder, so select this one here, and you can create a new folder, but since we already have one, we'll scroll down and choose the Apple TV folder here. So that's the basics of what a shortcut is, how to create your first shortcut, and how to organize your shortcuts. Next, let's look at different ways that you can run your shortcuts. This is part number 3. First up is automations. Now, instead of manually running a shortcut, you can have it automatically run in the background. There's two types of automations, personal and home. Let's start out with personal. Personal automations are ran on a personal device, so an iPhone or an iPad. To have a shortcut run automatically, you'll first need a trigger, which is what has to happen first before the shortcut can run. There's many different types of triggers available, such as time of day, when you arrive or leave at a specific location, connecting to CarPlay, using NFC tags. There's a lot you can choose from, and a trigger can be customized with their own individual specific settings. So for example, here's a shortcut I have run every day. At 6:40 a.m., it runs my backgate status shortcut, which gets the status of my backgate sensor and tells me if it's opened or closed, along with a custom message. Then it changes a watch face on my Apple Watch. As you can tell, you can have a shortcut run other shortcuts to make things a little easier for you. I could also choose a different time range, how often to repeat, etc. Shortcuts are synced to iCloud and available across multiple iOS devices, but personal shortcuts are only stored on the device that it was created on. So personal shortcut I make on my phone is not going to be available on my Mac or an iPad. Another thing you need to be aware of is that personal shortcuts cannot be shared, unlike regular shortcuts that can. Next, we have home automations. These are automations that are ran locally on your HomeKit hub, like an Apple TV, HomePod, or HomePod Mini. So because of this, you will have less options for triggers since it's not being ran from a personal device. These are the same triggers from the Home app and can really only be used to control other devices or run scenes in the Apple Home app. You can convert a home automation to a shortcut, but your options for action choices will be limited compared to if you're running this from a personal device. But you can still create some cool automations like using an if-then statement for controlling devices. That's a bit more advanced, so we'll skip that for now. You can run a shortcut from another app to process content without leaving the app by using the share sheet feature, which is what you see when you tap the share button. These are a bit more advanced, so I'll leave a link down in the description below with more information about this. If you have an Apple Watch, then you can add shortcuts to your watch by enabling them in the Shortcuts app and run them from the watch, either from a complication on a watch face or by using Siri. I use my Watch TV shortcut on my Apple Watch to quickly turn on my Apple TV and open up YouTube. You can also use Siri on your iPhone or iPad to run a shortcut as well. The name of the shortcut is what you'll have to say for the shortcut to run, and you can make it almost anything that you like. This also means that you can run a shortcut from a HomePod or HomePod Mini if your phone and HomePod are on the same Wi-Fi network. If the phone is dead or not on the same Wi-Fi network, the shortcut will not work, as Siri is looking for the shortcut name on your phone. Now, multiple people can also use this same HomePod to run different shortcuts that are on the different phones. You'll have to share your HomeKit home with somebody and enable the personal quest features for each person to have Siri be able to access shortcuts on yours or their phone. This is really handy for things like a spouse or a significant other that may want to run shortcuts from a HomePod. One of the more unique ways to run a shortcut is from a widget on your home screen. You can choose to run a single shortcut, have it show 2, 4, or up to 8 shortcuts. These shortcuts have to be inside a folder, and you'll choose the folder that contains the shortcuts. You can even stack multiple shortcut widgets together on your home screen or just have a single widget. To take this even further, you can add a single shortcut to your home screen as an app icon from the Shortcuts app. You can choose the icon, the color, and the name, and this is how it'll appear on your home screen. But once you add it to your home screen, you cannot change the name or icon. You have to remove the shortcut and re-add it with the new name or icon. Now, if you're feeling extra adventurous, then you can turn your entire phone's home screen into a home screen with only shortcuts and fully customize how everything looks. My wife is a huge Disney fan, and she made her home screen Disney themed, with each app icon representing a Disney character and opens a different app. This is really cool, but of course you will have to remember what each app icon opens up what app. But nonetheless, this is still cool. Another way to run shortcuts is from a way I don't see anybody talking about, and that is from your phone's lock screen. Just choose the shortcut and you can easily run a shortcut from the lock screen. This is amazing. And now you can run that Watch TV shortcut even faster from your phone's lock screen. And of course, you can run a shortcut from the Shortcuts app by tapping on the shortcut. Next is part 4, adding new shortcuts. So in the Shortcuts app, there's a gallery of pre-made shortcuts organized by category that you can easily add to your library and easily customize to your liking, and these are all free to use. You can also share shortcuts for other people to use, either the iCloud link or the actual file, and who can view the shortcut. And whenever you receive a shortcut, then you can view it and see what it does before adding it to your library. I'll leave some links down in the description below of some of my favorite places that I like to find and download additional shortcuts. And part number 5 is shortcut ideas that you can create for your smart home and just in general. So here's a few that I use every day and some other useful ideas. I have one called Audio Choices that I'll use if I want to listen to something but I don't know what. I can choose from music, which runs a separate music shortcut that asks me what playlist to play. I can choose book, which opens up Audible, or I can choose podcast that opens up the podcast app to listen to a podcast. It's a cleaner way to have one shortcut that runs everything versus having multiple apps on your home screen. Another shortcut that I use is called View Cameras, which is using the app called HomeCam that allows me to quickly view the live feed of one of my HomeKit cameras without having to open up the Apple Home app. Or I can open the HomeCam app and view the live feed of all my cameras at once. I'll leave a link down in the description below to check out HomeCam. This next one allows you to get the status of a contact sensor to see if it's opened or closed and have it display a custom message with the status. I use this one every day to make sure my back gate is closed before I let my dogs out in the morning or during the day to use the bathroom. Now you can take this one to the next level by being able to view a live camera feed directly from a notification. Here's a bunch more Siri shortcut ideas that you may like. Comment below how you would use Siri shortcuts in your smart home, and thank you for watching.